Breaking tonight, Liz Truss has begun forming her cabinet as she sets about delivering her ambitious agenda. In the past few moments, Kemi Badenoch has been confirmed as International Trade Secretary. That follows on from the announcement of Kwasi Kwarteng as Chancellor, Therese Coffey as the new Health Secretary and Deputy PM, and Brandis Lewis as the Justice Secretary. But arguably, the most important announcement was former Attorney General Suella Braverman taking over as Home Secretary after Priti Patel's resignation yesterday. The invasion of illegal migrants via the English Channel has become a national emergency, and Braverman will be intently judged on the handling of that crisis. A key step could be freeing the UK from the influence of European judges, and our new Home Secretary has told me just last month that both her and Truss were prepared to consider our position within the European Convention on Human Rights. Watch. Is she committed to leave the European Court of Human Rights?
Well, Liz has told me that she will do whatever it takes to solve the small boats problem. And you know, if that requires leaving the European Convention of Human Rights, then so be it, yes.
Nigel Farage, I mean, whatever it takes, if it means leaving the ECHR, then so be it. I'm sorry, we are going to have to leave the ECHR. And remember, that was a Suella Braverman policy position when she was running in the leadership election.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Dan, if I'd been a Tory MP, I would have voted for her. No question about it. Because when she says stuff, she actually means it. It's genuine. It's real. It's based on conviction. What we don't know about Liz Truss is how much is conviction and how much is telling the electorate what they wanted to hear, in this case being Tory party members. I am doing my utmost to give her a really, really good level of support in these first few days of the Premiership. But when you stand outside number 10, on your first day as Prime Minister, and you decide to use that to outline your three key areas that you will deal with, and you don't even mention the Channel, you don't even mention illegal immigration, I begin to get concerned. Now, I've no doubt what Suella Braverman would like to do. I've actually, to be honest with you, no doubt what Priti Patel would actually have liked to do, but of course Boris never cared about immigration. Boris always believed in open borders. Boris would have given amnesties to every single illegal migrant in the country. Boris was a globalist. But if the Prime Minister allows the Home Secretary to do her job, then we may have some hope. So look, I'm trying to give this new government a fair wind. I'm trying to say, look, I will not criticise, I will not obstruct, I will not try and throw a spanner in, but you need to do the right things. But here's the problem. They need to do them very, very, very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no honeymoon period here, is there, Nigel? It's really interesting, Nigel. We're obviously seeing lots of folk enter number 10 tonight. They are moving fast. Kemi Badenoch just officially confirmed as International Trade Secretary. Of course, that was a job that Liz Truss previously held. I have to say, Nigel, I am disappointed about that appointment, though, not because I don't think she'll do a great job there, but I believe what we needed was the anti-woke warrior herself in either education or culture. But it sounds like, from what I'm picking up, Liz Truss's team, perhaps quite sensibly, we're a little bit worried about Kemi resonating too much with the grassroots members because, of course, she was a big threat to her during that early leadership campaign.
Yeah. I mean, it is a truism that a wise general doesn't fight every single battle at once. And she does have the most enormous in-tray, I think, of any Prime Minister. People say Jim Callaghan in 76. I actually think since Winston Churchill in 1940.
Really?
I mean, that's what we're in. And by the way, all this attempt to blame it all on Putin, forget it. The energy crisis is a self-inflicted wound. Low growth, low productivity are all self-inflicted wounds. 12 years of failure of the Tory party, and that's why we've had 4 PMs in the space of 6 years. At least when it comes to some principled economics, we've got Truss talking sense. But does she? And here's the key question. Mrs. Thatcher walked in there in 79, not trying to appease anybody. She was going in to shake the whole blooming thing up, and she couldn't give a damn what people thought or what they said. She had courage. Does Liz Truss have that courage? I don't know the answer to that. You don't know the answer to that, but I'm prepared to give her a fair wind until we find out.
No, I think you're right, Nigel. I've got hope. And as you know, I thought she was the right choice. I certainly don't think Sunak would have been the man for the job at this point. What do you make of the rumoured bailout, Nigel? I mean, we're talking about potentially £95 billion. That's even bigger than the furlough scheme.
We've no idea what the sum is because we don't know what the spot gas price is going to be. I mean, that's the point. And we're talking about it for 2 years, not 1 year. We're talking about it up to the general election. I mean, I've no idea whether over the course of the next 2 years this costs 60 billion or whether it costs 500 billion. I mean, if you do this, you are signing a blank check. But let me just add this quick point. If you cap energy prices at a level that are just about affordable, and we get a cold winter, people will use a lot of energy. And that will then put problems on supply. And once again, Germany may well be in hock to Russia, but at least they have reserves, which they built up over the course of the last few months. We have no reserves. Our genius, pro-EU, just-in-time supply chain Tory party under Cameron and May closed down our storage facility. So, Liz Truss, yes, of course, she must do something with prices. Whether capping the wholesale price of gas is the right thing, well, it's a hell of a big gamble, but she's got to be seen to do something, and I get that. Supply. Yeah. She's used the word supply once or twice. This is urgent. She needs to tell the country we are prepared to reopen what's left of our coal-fired power stations. She needs to tell the country we're going to start developing onshore gas, and if necessary, the government will invest a stake in those businesses. She needs to tell the country we will be self-sufficient by 2024. And I promise you this, if she can bring us energy independence, if she can leave the ECHR and stop the nonsense over the channel, if she can go for growth by encouraging not just big businesses, but the 5.5 million men and women out there running small and medium-sized enterprises, acting as directors of limited companies or sole traders, and to take the burden of regulation off them, which is one of the reasons I pushed for all those years for Brexit. If she does those three things, she might not just save the Tory party, not just save her job, but save the country. And I say that because, final thought, yep, I believe we are on the edge of a precipice over which complete confidence in the financial system of this country and its standing in the world is about to topple over. Foreign direct investment is drying up. The interest of people around the world to buy our government debt is clearly now being open to question. We are, if she blows this, we will be back to 1976 and maybe even go to the IMF to get bailed out. This is an absolutely critical juncture in the modern history of our nation. Financial ruin is not very far away. And it's because of those reasons, whatever I think about Liz Truss being a Remainer and voting for Mrs May's deal and all of those things, I am prepared to take her on face value at this moment in time. If she fails, it will be a landslide Labour victory.
My God, there is a lot at stake. A lot at stake. Nigel Farage, perfectly put. And of course, Farage back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. here on GB News.